bread flour. Level the cups. Want to make sure we have 5 cups. Four and 5. 2.5 teaspoons dry yeast, 2 teaspoons salt. We'll mix all the dry ingredients together. And I'll add 2 cups lukewarm water. Lukewarm water is water that's temperature is between 85 and 95. Everything is mixed together nicely. Now I'll change the mixing attachment to the dough hook attachment to finish kneading the dough. You can also knead the dough by hand if you like. Then to this, I'll add 1 cup chopped pitted black olives. We'll mix the dough until it's nice and smooth and all the olives are incorporated into the dough. Now the dough, it's nice and ready. This kind of soft, a little bit sticky dough, and this is how we want it. I have brushed the mixing bowl with some olive oil. And just smooth it out a little bit. Cover it with saran wrap and let it sit to rise for about an hour to hour and a half in warm place. Cover with a kitchen towel until it's doubled in size. Now the milk is cool enough to add the culture, which is 1 cup of previously made homemade yogurt. The milk temperature should be at 115 degrees. That, if you have a thermometer, you can measure it with that. If you don't have a thermometer, the traditional way of making sure the milk is cool enough to add the culture, the yogurt to it, is by inserting the small finger, count to 10 without feeling the heat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did not feel the heat, so it's ready. Now, I have 1 cup of starter. It's yogurt that was made earlier. I'll add 1 cup of cold milk to this. Whisk to incorporate until smooth. And then add it to the cold milk. Stir. If you like, at this point, you can cover the pot, cover it with a clean towel and a blanket, and leave it for about 6 to 8 hours. But what I like to do is, I like to use glass balls to make the yogurt. Okay, we'll fill this other container. Cover them, the lid, and also I like to use the individual servings. So I have these jars, they're like about 6 ounces. Fill them to the rim. Will be nice to use as a snack or breakfast or even before midnight. I'll add the lid for the jars also. If you have jars without lid, you can just cover them with saran wrap. These individual servings are great if you have small kids. Now, we'll cover all the containers with nice, maybe 2 layers of kitchen towels, or you can just wrap it with a blanket. We'll leave it in a warm place for about 6 to 8 hours. You can leave it longer if you like the yogurt to be real sour. Now, the yogurt is been in the fridge overnight, and how nice and thick. Looks wonderful. I love these small servings. Looks really nice. You can use them as snack. You can mix some fruits with it, or even some honey or jam, and it's really, really wonderful. And this one is also ready. Now, we will make the Labneh. Labneh is thick yogurt, or as someone maybe calls it strained yogurt, or even some people might call it cheese yogurt. What I need is, I have 2 layers of cheesecloth. It's muslin fabric. I will use one of these called yogurt, and I'll spoon it into the cheesecloth. This is a wonderful yogurt. It's nice and thick and smooth. Yogurt is very healthy for you. It's good source of vitamin D, calcium, and protein. Okay. Basically, all what you need to do is you bring the 4 corners together and take a piece of kitchen twine. We'll tie the 4 corners together. You can leave it in this mesh sieve set over a bowl for the water or for the liquid to drain. It will take about maybe 6 to 8 hours for all the liquid to drain. Or what I like to do is, I will hang it over a bowl. I'll use my doorknob to hang it and let all the water drain for about 6 to 8 hours. If you like, you can leave it in the sieve mesh in the fridge to drain all the water. But I like to leave it to room temperature because it will make the Labneh real nice and sour, and it will give you that nutty, smoky taste to it. When using only 1 serving of Labneh, you can just use about 1 cup of Labneh in this filter set over a cup. You can also use a coffee filter if you like, and let it drain for about maybe 2 to 3 hours. I have some Labneh that's been draining for overnight. We'll transfer it to the glass bowl. You see how nice and thick the Labneh looks. Saran wrap, and we'll go in the fridge, or the other one that we used as a 1 serving, and the cone. Just press through it. Olive oil, drizzle with some olive oil, and it's ready to serve. Nice and thick. To make the Labneh balls, the Labneh was sitting in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours. It's nice and cool now. And I have chopped mint, chopped chives, black cumin, and zaater blend. Zaater blend is a blend of sesame seeds with sumac and oregano and some salt. What I would do is I use an ice cream scoop. I take 1 scoop, roll it into a smooth ball, and coat it with whatever you like to use. You can use mint, you can use zaater blend, or chives, or black cumin. So I think we'll use maybe few of all of them. We'll coat all the surface with chopped mint, arrange it on a platter, coat all the surface with black cumin, chives. You can use dry mint or dry chives if you don't have any fresh. And some zaater blend. Coating everything with the zaater mix. This will make a great spread on crackers or bread, and they are really good for any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or even as a snack. To make the Labneh balls packed in oil, I made these balls, coat them with zaater mix, and they were in the fridge for about 3 to 4 hours to completely cool off. So what I would do is I put some extra virgin olive oil in a jar, and then I'll arrange the balls in the jar gently. Be nice and firm. And cover them with olive oil. to cover all the Labneh. And then seal the jar and let it sit for about 2 to 3 days until you're ready to serve it. The dough is doubled in size. It looks nice and ready. Divide it in half. And divide each one into about 6 portions, depending on how large the loaves going to be. Form it into a smooth ball and place it on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. It's nice, soft dough. It smells so good. The olives in it smells so good. We'll cover it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let it rest before we start cooking the dough. To bake the bread, I have heated an electrical griddle to 450 degrees. If you don't have an electric griddle, you can just use any griddle over a stove and will work the same way. I will dust the working board with some flour and roll it into about 5 to 6 inches in diameter. Beautiful dough. Real easy recipe, very few ingredients, and real tasty bread. Dust any excess flour and cook it on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes until lightly brown in spots. This is a good way to introduce olives for people who might not eat olives. Olives are very healthy for you. They packed with vitamins and protein, and this is an easy way to serve olive. We'll turn it to the other side. Look how nice and brown in some spots, and this is how much we need to cook it for. Only takes about a minute or 2 on each side, and the bread will be ready. If you don't have a griddle, you can just use a frying pan or any other pan that you have, as long as it's hot enough to cook the bread on it. This looks good. Cover it with a kitchen towel, prevent it from drying out. You see, when it starts bubbling, that means it's ready for us to flip it to the other side. It smells wonderful. It smells like you just stepped out of the bakery. This is how much time we have for today. In today's show, we made plain yogurt. We made Labneh, which is thick yogurt, and we also made yogurt balls coated with chopped mint, chopped chives, coated in zaater mix, and black cumin. Also, we made some yogurt balls packed in oil. With that, we made olives flatbread grilled on a griddle. Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen and enjoy Middle Eastern cooking. We hope to see you next time with more exotic dishes from the Middle East.